All right, let me just get us straight. Make sure our pages we supposed to be live from. We good on. Shout out to everybody watching on Facebook. Shout out to everybody watching on YouTube. Shout out to everybody watching on Twitch. Yeah, we on Quality Sports Twitch. You know what I'm saying?
Oh damn! Right.
Yeah, man, we doing big things over here, dog. This ain't no game. All right, so uh, welcome to May 6th edition of the Good If It Goes podcast. I'm your host with the most, Mike. I got my boys DJ, Shay, Kevin in the building, and today we're gonna start with some NFL, man. So let's do some NFL takeaways. Who was the winners? Who was the losers? Let's start with that. Um, Schwab over there repping, you know what I'm saying, for the home team, one of the biggest winners. So Schwab, tell me your winners and your losers, bro.
I think the two big winners, and you can kind of decide one versus 1A because the Bears clearly went quality over quantity. Denver, I thought, had a really good draft. Those are the two I would say were at the top. To me, the big loser was New Orleans. I have no idea what those guys were doing. Peyton Turner, their first-round pick, wasn't even on my board. Taysom Hill in the fourth round. Taysom Hill. I wish it was Taysom Hill. Ian Book.
No, that's the same thing. You was right.
Yeah, pretty much. No idea what they were doing there. He was, again, not even on my board at all. I ranked through the seventh round at quarterback. 12 guys, and Ian Book wasn't one of them. Pete Werner, I thought they reached on him, had a fourth-round grade on him. And same deal for Paulson Adebo, but that was a third-rounder, so not egregious there. Frankly, the only draft I can think of in recent memory that was anywhere near New Orleans in terms of sheer awfulness was that train wreck that Green Bay turned in last year. And this was even worse.
Okay. Shane, tell me what you thought about the thought about the draft.
Look, I hate to admit it, but we got to put our biases to the side, right? When talking about sports, look, the Bears. I mean, look, we've said on our pod many times that evaluating college quarterbacks to what they're going to be in the pros is very difficult. Everybody already swung and missed on Herbert. And that being said, I thought Justin Fields was the second best quarterback in this class. So the Bears trading up and not even really giving up much to go and get it. That was like,
they didn't trade much at all.
To me, that was the most surprising part, is that they barely had to give up anything. And they jumped teams and they grabbed Fields. And I mean, if you're a Bears fan, which the three you are, what have you wanted for your entire lives? You've wanted the potential of a star quarterback, and you finally have it. I mean, I'm not a fan of Zach Wilson. I'm just kind of meh on Trey Lance. I think he's going into a good situation. But I really don't have a real feel about Trey Lance. Like, I mean, I watched Justin Fields tear apart Clemson, playing the majority of the game with a pretty significant injury. Like, it's an injury you can play through, but it's like very, very difficult to be effective. And he was. And I mean, I just think the potential is there for Fields to be a star probably sooner rather than later. Like, I don't think like this is a sit for a year or two thing. Like, I mean, we know
it's a sit for a year.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, if they start off slow and Andy Dalton is bad, which is certainly possible, then that fan base is going to be screaming for Fields. And,
it would have to get really bad before I think they pull the trigger on that, though. And even then, if you think, okay, if it's not going so well, what do you accomplish by throwing Fields into the fire? Not very much.
The same thing you did when you did with Mitch.
But
Right.
the days
how'd
of
that work out?
But
I
there's
mean,
no
but he sucked though, so it would have
Yeah,
always
right.
worked out as
It didn't
it would have
work.
worked out the same. But so they put out these things now, so we all know like in football they lie a lot, probably more than any other sport. And so they put out this thing now where we gonna be patient, we gonna wait, we gonna do this, we gonna do that. Best believe by like week 4 to 6, if Andy Dalton doing Andy Dalton things, Andy Dalton gonna be on the bench. It don't matter. Like
and quarterbacks don't sit anymore. This is
exactly.
not how this works now with the salary cap. Like the people want to
Mahomes
always
did.
talk about. People always want to talk about the Aaron
Oh, yeah.
Rodgers situation where he sat for years. Those days are done.
It was like
They-
10 years ago too, and
Right.
they behind Brett Favre, and
Teams
they got a
want
steal in
right.
Aaron Rodgers.
teams want to get out what they can from guys on their rookie deal. That's why it's a
Mhm.
rookie deal when they're making no money. So you can, so you
Russell
can
Wilson,
exactly.
how much value they got? Or Dak Prescott,
Exactly. Like
God.
that's the whole point. So I
Carson
don't
Wentz. Even though I
I
don't
mean,
like Carson Wentz, like
you
Lamar
were going
Jackson.
Yeah.
an early
Justin
pick
ain't
like
nothing.
Fields is like the most that he would ever sit out is a year. Like that
Right.
that's like the days of quarterbacks, sitting and learning for 2 to 3 years are over.
And that means Andy Dalton is a hit too.
Yeah,
That's
what that means.
Right.
That's what-
Andy Dalton would have to be,
he would have to be what Fitzgerald was doing last year, and they still pulled him for Tua. And it's Ryan Fitzgerald. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, so he would have to like do something
Yeah,
like
and then Tua
like,
got
have a
benched
good
again.
run. Yeah, but that was the Miami decision. They could have kept rolling with Fitzgerald, but they wanted to play their
one way
guy.
or the other. Fields will be on he's going to play this year. Like whether it's Andy Dalton's a guy that has injury problems too. So
Yeah.
like, anything like that. And,
Andy Dalton, dog. It's Andy Dalton.
I don't know how you could look at the first round of the draft and look around and say like, what was the best pick? I mean, just on value alone, it has to be Fields. Like I'm a fan of like what certain teams did, especially with the receivers. I thought Philadelphia getting Devontae Smith at 12 or whatever they traded up. I mean, that was a great pick.
That one or Minnesota getting Darisaw when they did.
Minnesota did good.
Jalen Waddle to Miami, I liked. I'm you guys know I'm not high on Kyle Pitts. I'm not taking Kyle Pitts over any of those three receivers, over Smith, over Waddle, or Jamar Chase. I would not have done it. I think Atlanta made a mistake. And other than that, I mean, there was nothing really, as far as the first round goes, nothing that really stood out either way. It's very, very difficult to, predict success of young, rookie NFL players. It's hard. It really is.
DJ, tell me your thoughts from the draft, bro.
Winners, Bears. Losers, not the Bears. Everybody else. Nah. Like what Shane said. I like what Philly did. They need a wideout. And like the show that we did before the draft, it kind of went the way that most of us, suspected. And so like I wasn't really, too shocked at how the first round went. And so like Swab said, the Saints picking was funny because they got like Taysom Hill and they drafted another Taysom Hill. Dallas actually being smart is always shocking, even though they have had some pretty decent drafts. But every time they do something smart, it's like, okay, all right. And so yeah, like it kind of went like how I expected it to go, as far as everything goes. Besides the Fields thing, yeah, that was like the biggest shock. But then after that, I really didn't. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really care about whatever else nobody else was doing. Like could nothing pass that. Even if it wasn't my team, if it was like another team, that's all I would have thought about. Is like, man, how did they get him at that at that pick? And so yeah, that was my biggest takeaway was, how did a guy like Justin Fields get devalued so much that he fell like that? And so it's not like even like y'all brought up the Aaron Rodgers things. Like Aaron Rodgers was a good college quarterback, and people did think that he was gonna go like earlier, but it wasn't like, man, and Rodgers been the number one player since he was 14 years old, and he was on it. Like he played for Cal. Like, all right, that's Cal. That's a different level when you playing. Back then it was USC. Like if he was USC quarterback, then I'd be like, all right. But and so Phil just been in the spotlight. He been against these teams. He been playing so well, and he fell so low compared to where I thought he was going, which was like crazy. And then the Panthers too. They really sold on Sam Darnold, and Denver got to be sold on who, like Teddy. They got to be sold on Teddy. No, Drew Lock done. Like,
yeah, I agree with you. The point you're making, that's a good point that you're bringing up, because like there's multiple teams like that had to have known, like these conversations are going on before the draft, like who's willing to trade down, who's willing to trade up.
Yeah.
And you saw what the Bears gave up.
Yeah.
Like, you mean to tell me that another team couldn't have made a better offer, that they know that like what the offer, what it was going to take to move up?
Yeah, but the thing is that Pace had talked to Gettleman like the day before, and they was friends. And so the story is like he already talked to him and was like, if things fall, I might want to trade up. Gettleman never trades back.
That was the first time I ever did it. It was incredible.
Yeah, he never trades back. And so his relationship with Pace created that. And everybody thought that Fields could have went to the Panthers because I'm not sold on Darnold, or he could have went to the Broncos because I'm not sold on those guys. And Philly, Dallas, and somebody else put out all these lies about who they wanted. Right. And so everybody thought Dallas was getting a corner, but they wanted Parsons all the way through. And so that kind of messed up stuff. And then Philly was saying what they was going to do, which is the opposite of whatever they did. And so like it was just a perfect storm. And if you a Bears fan, it worked out for you because the Vikings was trying to trade up, but I don't think the Vikings GM got a relationship with, get him. And so all that good old boys club stuff, it actually worked out for the Bears in this case.
Yeah, I think Denver and Carolina both made mistakes passing on Fields. I think those are two teams that have, I think they've like kind of they have good rosters.
Yeah.
Like kind of under the radar. Like those are kind of like sneaky good rosters. Yeah. Like I love the receiving core that Carolina has.
Yeah. Same with Denver.
Yeah, and both of them have good receiving cores, and they're what are they missing? A quarterback. Like I kind of like Sam Darnold. I don't know what he is, but like if I had the opportunity, to take Justin Fields, like I would have done that. I think those two teams. Now Denver got a very good player in Surtain.
Yeah.
But I mean, are you winning in the NFL without a quarterback? Because you're not winning with Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater as your quarterback.
Well, here's
just not. In a division with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, you are not winning anything. Tough. I don't care how good your defense is if your quarterback is Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater.
I guess they thinking that as long as you play mistake winning ball and
Darnold getting him into Carolina, they freeze.
What'd you say?
I think I froze there. No, I think with Carolina, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that Sam Darnold could turn into something with Joe Brady there, getting them out of New York. And as far as Denver is concerned, they might be getting their quarterback. Who knows?
We're going to segue into that. That's a good segue. One thing I will say about the draft that I enjoyed, of course, the Justin Fields pick. One thing I saw was some symmetry. Like you had Jamar Chase go play with his quarterback. Yeah. You got Waddle playing with his quarterback. Yeah. You got Etienne playing with his quarterback.
That was one of the worst picks.
Who, Etienne?
One of the worst picks of the draft.
Yeah, that's what everybody was saying. They were saying that they should have did anything but running back.
Running back because they got Robinson.
I love Travis Etienne. I think he's Alvin Kamara 2.0. I have no idea why Jacksonville thought they needed him at the time. Yeah, it's not a well-run franchise. Anybody that hired Urban Meyer and then
it makes no sense.
They just fired 4 of their guys from their scout team.
Yeah, I saw that too. I always like seeing
Fire when he tries to
teammates
hire
play
the
together.
racist
I
strength
do
coach
too.
from Iowa. Like,
I like college
figure it
when
out.
he was playing together, especially college teammates that damn near won together, playing together. Like that, that's pretty cool to me, especially skill positions at quarterback. So one of my favorite picks was Najee Harris. I really like Najee Harris. I think he's gonna be a good fit for the Steelers. And then this also lets me know that the Steelers are done with James Conner. So Najee Harris, that's gonna be one of my fantasy guys on my radar. I think he'll do pretty good next year on your fantasy football team. So
he probably will.
we
He
gonna
that type
say
of back though.
yeah. He's a Steelers type of back, right?
Yeah, he is.
So I thought that was a good pick.
Absolutely.
We're gonna segue into what Schwab just hinted at. Just want to remind everybody, check out our website, goodifitgoes.com. Content coming. Check out me and Kevin, aka Schwab Show, Big Shoulders Podcast. That's gonna be coming to y'all soon. We're gonna cover all that Chicago content. So all that Justin Fields talk and much more. We're gonna segue into what Schwab just said. So Schwab, you said Denver might be getting a quarterback. Explain what you talking about.
If I had to guess which NFL team, if he's on an NFL roster, maybe he hosts Jeopardy. I don't know. If I had to guess which NFL team Aaron Rodgers is going to be on, who are the Broncos?
Okay. Now we heard that talk draft day. We covered it in our draft show. Obviously, no movement, but I have seen some reports. Shane, what's your quarterback doing, man?
Okay, so here's where I'm at on the whole thing. I went from last Thursday, this is just a complete disaster. He's done, and then you just kind of sit back and listen to smart people and gather some more facts. And I've gone from thinking he's probably not coming back to now I'd say and obviously, the only thing that would really shock me is if he takes the option of just up and retiring. Like I don't, that's technically an option, right? And I don't, that would stun me. At this point, I'd say I'm about 80% that he's the Green Bay Packers quarterback week 1. I just don't see what his possible exit strategy would be. Like we went from thinking last Thursday that he was the one that leaked all this stuff on draft day to be a dick and to just kind of, to just really want to get out, to learning that, no, that's not how this happened. And it just, as you gathered more facts, it didn't make sense. If he really, really wanted out and teams knew that Green Bay was maybe floating him, the offers would be coming in left and right. It would be an insane bidding war. He didn't leak anything. Schefter admitted today, and this goes further into this scumminess of what reporting is in professional sports. Somebody came out with where this started was somebody from San Francisco came out making a claim that San Francisco made that. Remember that offer to Green Bay, the third pick, another one, Garoppolo, and something else. I forgot exactly what it was for Rodgers, and the Packers said no. Well, it turns out that offer never even happened. So what Schefter did was Schefter and some of these other media guys had been hearing like rumblings about how, Rodgers was upset. He might want out. He mentioned some things to teammates, yada, yada, since the end of the season. So Schefter, once that tweet came out last Thursday, like 10 a.m., he said, oh, well, wait a minute. We all have this information. We live in a world where I have to be first. I have to be the one to report this. I have to be the one with my name plastered all over the place about what's going on. So then he dropped all that information, and then boom, all hell broke loose. You guys know the rest. Right. There's zero reason for the Packers to trade Rodgers. They would be much better off just telling him, get fucked or come play for us. Like they're not, like trading him would cost them a ton of money, and he can't just walk away because then he'd have to pay them back $30 million. Does he really hate the Packers that much to say here's 30 M's? Goodbye.
Dang, I thought that not to cut you off, but like I know about the money, but I didn't think Carson Wentz was gonna get traded. So if you look at like deals and contracts and all of that, like how did Carson Wentz get moved with all that dead cap and all that salary? And somebody said that the NFL salary cap only exists when you want it to. Like, and because the Saints been like over the cap for like years and they still got a championship contending team. And I feel like where there's smoke with this situation is fire. Like it's definitely something there because even just every time they talk to him after the season, it's never like a ringing endorsement. And it's always you can tell that he bothered. He has terrible body language.
Oh, I'm not denying any of that. I'm not saying any of these reports were false. Like that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like you can talk all that shit. You can say what you want, but what is Rodgers' end game?
Right.
What is his end game here? He knows that he doesn't have the leverage.
Yeah.
Like if they don't want to trade him, they don't have to.
Right.
And like what I think happens is eventually they put differences to the side. Rodgers realizes my best chance to win is still in Green Bay. What is he going to do? Is he going to go to one of the teams? Okay. If he would have been able to go to San Francisco, I would have understood that completely from an Aaron Rodgers standpoint. That's obviously out the window. So what are your options? What are your options
Denver.
now? Your option is either Denver or okay, go ahead. You want to go play in Patrick Mahomes' division? You want to go play in a division with Justin Herbert where he's a up and coming star, or do you want to stay in a division with Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, and for now Andy Dalton? Like what's like that? That's my thing. Like I just think like
I'll counter that by saying, do you want to stay with a team that has zero defense or go to a team where they just bolstered their defense and it's coached by Vic Fangio? I don't think he's afraid of Mahomes.
I don't think so either.
I
think
twice a year. Twice a year.
You're a competitor. Like, why would you be like if you?
Then you got to go play in Vegas in 90-degree weather.
That's fine. He from California. That's fine. You can't be a MVP Hall of Fame quarterback talking about something. I'm scared to go play another guy. Like if that's you, then
because you tell me the last time they got swept in the NFC North by any team.
Who?
Right. Rodgers runs the NFC North ever since.
No, he does.
It go through him, and
if he
stayed through Green Bay for 20-some years,
right? There's just no way.
AFC West. It's over with.
Right. And what? Okay. Let's say this too. Let's say Green Bay. Let's say Denver wants to trade for Rodgers. What are they going to do? They're going to give up 2 first-round picks. Okay. Well, we do know that if Rodgers goes to Denver, like there's, like you said, like Schwab made a good point. That is a good roster. Rodgers is going to make that team better. Yeah. So regardless of playing in Mahomes' division, that's Rodgers could make a 10-win team, maybe 11, right? Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are those first-round picks really going to be worth? They're going to be in the 20s. Like if Green Bay was ever really going to trade Rodgers, they would have traded him before the draft.
Yeah.
So they could get value in this year's draft. Yeah. Because once you send Aaron Rodgers to a team, he is going to make that team better, and you are going to get a worse draft pick.
They said that it's a June 1st thing. Yeah, I was just about to say it's a post-June 1st window where they can do like more things. They can configure the cap and they can do things with picks and all type of stuff. So they said just wait until after June 1st. But I want to ask, like, how do you go back to a team and like he great and they need him, but like ain't the team gonna be kind of feeling away because the whole offseason was about you not wanting to be here and then you come back, and football locker rooms is kind of like that like chemistry stuff and all of that, like that matters. Like
yeah, I hear what you're saying, but A, he's Aaron Rodgers, the MVP of the league. You can get away with certain shit. B, his beef is with the front office. His beef is not with his teammates.
Yeah.
Like he's not a bad teammate. Nobody dislikes him.
Yeah.
It's actually quite the opposite. Devontae Adams was liking tweets favoring Rodgers yesterday. Devontae Adams is second besides, and Bakhtiari is close with Rodgers. Those are the 2 best players on the team besides Rodgers. So like I don't. like I see what you're saying, but I think like they would quickly get over, you know,
Can want to be traded? Yeah.
right. Like he's always, I think he's always kind of been a little bit of a, a little bit of a diva, a little bit of a, kind of a dick. He's probably not the nicest guy in the world, but it's, I think, and look, maybe I'm dead wrong. Maybe they ship him out, but at this point on May 6th, whatever today is, my guess is that he's back in Green Bay, at least for this year.
I agree from the aspect of Bakhtiari re-signing, because apparently he was telling guys a year ago, hey, if you're thinking about re-signing, just know I might not be here.
And Aaron Jones and Bakhtiari both re-signed anyway, and Devontae
Right.
Adams is close to signing an extension. So like I don't know how much really
that goes in the pro column. Now in the con column, I think this front office is arrogant enough to think that they can do it without Rodgers, that they have all the tools and they know what they're doing. And there is some Jerry Krause there that thinks they're the smart ones here and not just lucking into a generational talent. Hence, not picking up the phone last year and calling Rodgers and telling him, hey, this is what we're thinking about doing. That tells me one of two things. Either they knew what his reaction was going to be and they didn't care and they're really stupid for that reason, or they legitimately thought he'd be okay with it and they're really stupid for that reason.
Jordan Love season coming, baby. Let's get them Jordan Love
See, that's another
jerseys
thing.
going.
Like we don't, Andrew Brandt made a good point. So they drafted Jordan Love in the first round because they're going to play him eventually. So like I think everybody realizes that. The problem is nobody has a clue about anything from Jordan Love. Like we didn't remember, the COVID year, we didn't even get to see him in a preseason game. No media got to see any practices. He's like, I forgot, somebody was saying it on Twitter, like the guy's a ghost. Nobody knows anything about him. I haven't seen him do anything since the combine.
Shane, where your light at? You dark.
Yeah, I got to turn it on. It's on the other side. But yeah,
you was talking about a ghost. I was like, you a ghost right now.
Right? You can't see me.
can't see you.
Rodgers back in Green Bay this year. That's
I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, but they're gonna be asking everybody all year, like, how did you feel about that? How did you feel about that? And I don't think they can escape it. But like winning solves everything. So if he come back, they gonna win X number of games, win the division probably, and then they'll be fine. But it's like, how many years are they gonna be still doing this whole thing and this passive aggressive dance that they've been doing?
Well, and that's where I side with Rodgers. Like, look, you got to tell me what the fuck's going on. Like, what are we doing here? And that's where I think Green Bay made the biggest mistake by just kind of, you don't leave a guy like Aaron Rodgers in limbo. You don't
pick up the phone and call him.
Exactly. That was a horrible mistake. And it's not even a mistake. It's just like stupidity.
It's arrogance.
It's unacceptable. Like, yeah, I'm like,
MVP of the league.
What have I always said about the NFL? Some of the dumbest people in the world are head coaches and work in the front offices, and they continue to show it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think, like, this isn't fun for anybody. Like when stories like these drag out, like you just get. I've already gotten to the point. It's like, you know what? Either come back or trade them. Like, don't fucking drag this out till August. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's NFL. They will, though. They will.
I know, and it's just so, like, the Favre saga was so.
Shoot, Khalil Mack got traded in September.
Yeah. So yeah,
very true.
Yeah, it do not matter. They ain't trying to. Yeah, you one player out of 53. They gonna drag out whatever.
Yeah. Well, I quite frankly, as a Bears fan, hope they trade him and get the hell out of our division.
Me too.
Move on to some NBA talk before I get to that. Me and Shane got a betting show come on. It's untitled right now, but we'll be here on Thursday nights to put some money in y'all pockets. So we coming real soon with that. Also, if you're new to the podcast, the beer of the night is Corona Premier. We on the keto kick for 2 grams of carbs. You know what I'm saying? If you're new, I come on with a different beer. You know what I'm saying? So this week is Corona Premier. Shout out to Quan. Adam Schefter stole one of Quan's tips before too. So I'm not gonna say what I want to say, but Adam Schefter, just know if you're listening, bro, we coming for you, bro. Just know that. All right, so we're gonna
He's a
jump into some.
clown.
Yeah, we're gonna jump into some NBA talk. Man, so right now, NBA, it's in them dog days, as I like to call them. Like, you got a lot of teams just dogging it because they playing for that lottery pick. You got your rookies getting their time, younger players getting their time on the court. I think Anthony Edwards put up a career high last night. So for example, Lonzo Ball put up like 33 the other night. He had he had a career high, then he had a dud, then he had a career high right after that. LaMelo Ball is back. Hornets playing for playoff positioning. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the NBA.
They lost tonight.
Who did?
Who that? The Hornets to the Bulls. Yeah.
Hornets got creamed.
Yeah, I didn't like the Bulls tonight either, too, bad and wide. So that's crazy that they end up pulling it out. They were favored it though.
Zach and Bucci Mane back, so that's probably why.
Yeah. So I do want to talk about the month of April, man. Steph Curry. Is there anything really we have to talk about? I mean, it's more of an acknowledgement. Like, we know what dude can do. So any of y'all like impressed, surprised? Like, remember they said he couldn't carry the team, he couldn't do nothing on his own. Clay been out, back-to-back years. You know what I'm saying? Of course, no KD no more, no death lineup. Steve Kerr is still his coach. So what y'all think about Steph month of April, man? Anything y'all liked?
So
Anything y'all want to say?
Special.
It's incredible. And a quick story. So anybody that I know, at least me and Mike are, I'm not sure about DJ. I know Schwab's not. Anybody that's a weed smoker, right? You know that, and anybody that's listening, every once in a while,
This story's going to be good.
you're just chilling, right? You're just chilling. You're on your computer and you get high and you fuck around and just start watching like old basketball videos and clips and whatnot, watching highlights.
Facts.
Came across Steph Curry's 2008 tournament highlights. And like, it just made me like, just kind of like think back this guy's entire career. Like I went from like loving every single minute he played in college. I remember was just mesmerized by the guy. He was incredible. But I also, let me be the first to admit, I also did not think it was going to translate to the pros. And like, I thought like maybe this guy can find a niche as a spot up shooter. Maybe.
Black JJ
Redick. I never thought like this dude was going, like, how many of these players, like, you knew what LeBron was going to be. You knew what Carmelo was going to be, right? It didn't take a genius to figure that out. Like, I just never thought Curry's game was going to translate in a million years that I ever think it was going to be this good. Like, he's still out there, like, absolutely dominating. And a guy like him in this situation is never going to win the MVP because that's just not how they vote. But, I mean... he should be right there. Like, if I had an MVP vote, I would strongly consider giving it to Steph Curry. It's incredible.
Okay. DJ Schwab, any thoughts on Steph?
Yeah, on Steph. No, that month was special. I'm not really surprised because shooting translate. Like, bro, Steph gonna be 60 years old and still be able to like pull and shoot. Like, he not like built with all these muscles and he don't gotta like do a bunch of stuff. Like, no, he can shoot. Like, they whole family can shoot. So like, this is not surprising. They don't really got much as far as like consistent scoring on that team. Like, somebody you can count on every single night. Like, Wiggins may have a good night. Oubre can remember he know how to play basketball. And then that's it. And then you might got guys chipping in, but I knew he was gonna have to do this, but their team is still like fighting to be like 500. So it's tough, but he definitely deserves like MVP consideration, but he won't get it. My front runner is Jokic because even without Jamal Murray, they're like 10-1 or 10-2 or something.
It's 9-1.
But what Steph is doing is special. I'm not surprised at all. This is what I expected him to do. We talked about it at the beginning of the season on the podcast. Like, like I think me and you might have mentioned like Steph might be an MVP dark horse candidate because he's going to have the ball like and it's going to be free reign and like all Draymond out there doing is passing him the ball and setting screens, Mr. Triple Single. That's all he out there doing. So like you give a guy like that free reign, like I expected him to do this because ain't no Clay. He's going to get all the attention. His handle is still good, but all he needs is that little glimpse of like, if I can see the rim, I'm gonna just pull. Like if I can see it, and man, that month, like his April was like special, and he continued, till this month. He had one game where it wasn't good at all, but then like the next two was like 40, 35, and so no, I'm not surprised at all. Like I mean, he that special type of person, but like you were talking about like carrying teams and all of that. It's like they team still fighting for like 500. That goes to show you like the quality of the West and like where we are as in basketball. Like you can be that great, but like man, it's a whole bunch of guys that's out there that got it. And this ain't when like Bron came in the league and he could be that great and carry a bunch of like bums to the finals. No, you can't do that now. Like and so um we are like never question his greatness. It's like when Clay get back and they got to figure out what they're gonna do with Wiseman, play him more, and actually put him in a position to be successful. Then I want to see like how good they can be, right? Like, and hopefully Clay is at least 80%, 90% of himself. But his game don't depend on a bunch of like moving around either, and so hopefully that that helps him. Hopefully Clay come back and he okay because he
See,
got to defend. Clay got to defend, and that's what I think his injuries will affect him more than offensively.
I had a suggestion to be the pod we did at the very beginning of the season. We were giving predictions and whatnot. We talked about Golden State. I don't know how far fetched this is, but get Steph Curry to Charlotte.
Oh yeah, to go
Get
back
him there.
home.
Get him back home. I mean, he's maxed out what he's going to do with Golden State. Like that team, like I know we're like, what do we possibly think that team can be, even with his greatness?
Mm.
I mean? I'm just, I don't know. Like they
gotta put him on the court, man.
Yeah, like I think but he's still a project. Like he's still a guy that's probably going to take a few years to develop. I mean,
I'm really high on him, man. I ain't gonna lie, I'm real high on Wiseman. I've been high on him since he was in high school. I thought he was gonna play a lot more. I thought he would be an integral part of whatever success they had. And dude don't even play. He don't even play. So I would say Wiseman. I would say Draymond. I would say Clay. Draymond plays best when he has a full strength team around because he you don't have to pay attention to him. He can just play defense and set screens and get assists. And shit, I mean, like you said, DJ, shooting doesn't age. So Clay gonna come back. I don't know if Clay gonna be one of them top 5 two-way guys again because
you have to assume that he's not.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not gonna argue against that. KD is an anomaly because I didn't know KD was gonna be KD this year, and he's definitely KD. I don't know if Clay gonna be there, but I don't know, man. It's like shit. You tenured there, they're gonna pay you what you want. You're one of the obstacles in the West. Like Steph was one of the people in the way in the West. And now you're gonna go to the East,
right?
And go see Kyrie and KD now, and then go see Giannis, and then go see all these other younger guys. Like you got to go see Philly.
But that's a nice roster in Charlotte though, and you put something like Steph there, like he's going to elevate. He's going to do something like Chris Paul did for Phoenix. Like he's going to elevate them quickly, like make them a serious contender right away. And
who they Devin Booker? Like who is the Hornets Devin Booker? Because like you put Steph on that team, you gotta tell me a guy that's running with him, like because me and Mike be talking about the Hornets all the time, and it's like because like we be talking about Melo and just like what they got going on, just like randomly, and so like I need to see another guy step up because Miles Bridges is cool. I can't depend on him. PJ Washington cool. I can't depend on them. Those twins, they come in and be out. So it's like, who is the guy? And then you got LaMelo Ball, but it's like, he's not a volume scorer.
A LaMelo and Steph backcourt is.
I mean, that'd be fun, but
That's
like
scary as hell.
Like, no,
We
it'll
could've
be
had them
fun,
go
but
to
it's
state.
like, but
They
it's
could have
like,
had them go to state.
Yeah,
they
sorry,
coulda-
Mike. Mike.
Yeah.
I know you love Wiseman, but that was an egregious mistake that they made. That was a big mistake that they made. And I'm not even necessarily like, it's not even a hate on Wiseman, but like we've seen what LaMelo's done, and you can like, I'm trying to picture that backcourt. And now if you wanted to have that like Steph, LaMelo, then you have even like Clay at 80%, and then Draymond, and then you fill out the roster with good role players. That's a team right away that they could get back.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just like, it's Steph is going to be the next interesting guy. Like maybe he's just a Golden State lifer. Maybe he just says, you know what, I'm Kobe. I want to stay here my entire career, and that's fine. I respect that. Or maybe he says, you know what, I've had an incredible career here. I'm ready for that next chapter. Like every other player, like every other current star is basically done. And I don't think nobody would.
Steph is the only one that hasn't left. I think Steph is the most tenured player in the NBA by like 4 years, and I think after him it's like Dame or it's somebody. Like I think it's Dame.
And you're already hearing rumblings about Dame kind of making that hint, like maybe he wants to go to New York, maybe he wants to get out. So like I respect Steph for it, but like I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if he says, you know what, let me go and try and win somewhere else.
The West Coast, man.
Charlotte though, you got the legacy piece, that's the crib, his pops, all that stuff. I can see that. And then like me and DJ, we went to a Charlotte Hornets game. Like it looked pathetic in the arena. Like, you walk around NBA arenas, they got their trophies, they got their banners hanging up, they got all this shit. All they had was a picture of Zoe, Grandmama, and Muggsy Bogues. And they all-star when they hosted the all-star game like 94, like some paraphernalia from there, and that's it. So and then I think Sean Marks is the only jersey they have hanging up. And RIP Sean Marks, but it's only hanging up there because he passed. So it's pathetic there. And he would change.
Phillips, right? Too?
I mean Bobby Fields, not Sean Marks. Why I say Sean Marks? Bobby Fields. My bad. Is Sean Marks dead? I don't know. If he's not dead, RIP. But RIP Bobby Fields though. He's the only person that got
pathetic is Miami retiring Michael Jordan's number.
I mean, that's just a shout out. That should be retired league wide. Pat Riley just ahead of the curve, bro. That's all.
Yeah, Brian
just ahead of the curve, bro.
Yeah,
he just ahead of the curve.
Wait, speaking of, and you know what? One other thing I want to touch on, because I know we all talked about it in this chat. Pat Riley, supposed genius, just because he slicks his hair back and looks like a fucking mobster. People have this idea like he's something from The Godfather. No, he's a fraud. He's way, way overrated. This is the same guy that didn't want to put Tyler Hero, that little Instagram dork, in a trade for James Harden. We called that out at the time and said that was idiotic. And it's looking, I mean, it just looks horrible now.
I would have got them out of here. I hope
Jimmy Butler and James Harden in the same locker room now.
Absolutely.
One of them would kill the other one.
Yeah,
it would work.
Because James, the one thing, like, I ain't the biggest Harden fan, and he be pissing me off like the way that he play. But the one thing James Harden is, he's a hooper. Like, James Harden don't want to miss games. When all these guys be low managing and doing this and doing it, James Harden wants to play. And Jimmy Butler is a guy that he respects you for coming and wanting to play. And James Harden fat, but he not gonna cheat the game except for when he wanted to get out of Houston. But like, James Harden is a hooper, and Jimmy Butler respects that. The reason why he got into it with them guys in Minnesota because they be going through the motions. Andrew Wiggins and Cat and all of them is super talented, number one picks, all the other stuff, but they was going through the motions. They don't come to work every day. James Harden is a hooper, and him and Jimmy, who got a good relationship, they fine. They fine. The one thing you would never hear about nobody talking about Harden is he don't want to play. That's not what you're gonna hear about Harden. You might hear some other stuff, but when it comes time to hoop, folks want to play, and so they would have been fine.
And Harden didn't, and Harden's defense gets overblown sometimes because in a backcourt with Butler, you don't need him to be a great defender,
right?
You know what I mean?
Like to try.
He does.
Hey, remember, you have to guard him on the other side of the ball too.
Exactly. Like
so that's what in basketball. Like you could be a guy like like Steph Curry not locking nobody up. They're like, oh, he led in steals, but he not locking nobody up. But then you have to, on the other side of the ball, you have to guard him too. So if I can score more than you in basketball, I win. That's how it works. Some teams will allow that, especially if you James Harden. I got Jimmy Butler next to me, who's top 3, two-way guy in the league. In my opinion, top 3. Like I will take that as a coach. I will run out there instead of with Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. I would much rather take James Harden. Like, because Tyler Hero's gonna get his ass cooked too, and so is Justin. Which one of them got put on a poster? One of them got put on a nasty ass poster. I think by Bron in the finals. It's like,
oh yeah.
I'll take that poster with James Harden because then you have to come guard James Harden. He's gonna go get his 2 or 3 points back. So, now that was a good call by us. I don't know what Pat Riley thought. I don't think Pat Riley a fraud. I like Pat Riley.
He's a fraud. Yeah, he's just one of these guys that's built a reputation to.
He look up. Phil Jackson is the fraud. We'll talk about NBA personality as fraud. I got a whole podcast. I got a whole minute of madness.
Anytime you want, he's the biggest fraud in the history of. He's the biggest coaching fraud in the history of sports.
Phil Jackson.
Yes.
I think he's the most overrated personality 100%. In all of sports. 100%. Period. I think he's 100%. The most overrated. But that's another podcast, another time.
I'm glad we're talking about Eastern Conference basketball.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to overreact to something. You guys ready? I'm going to overreact. I'm going to make another. Yeah. I'm going to make another declaration like I did at the beginning of the season.
Who going to win the East?
Milwaukee. I'm sold. You want to know why I'm sold?
Against the Nets.
You want to know why I'm sold? Because they are going to have zero defense for Giannis. And you watch the Nets are going to have zero chance with Giannis. It is not going to work. It is not going to work.
James Harden was not there, bro.
Yeah.
There's no continuity with that Nets team. They have not played together enough.
No continuity. You're right.
None, and that's a concern. Like that matter. You can't just roll the ball out and say just because you guys are stars, go win. It doesn't work like that. There's
especially in the playoffs.
I think that's where the fact of they ain't been together is gonna affect them the most is gonna be on the defensive end because they can get buckets. But you better not let them get hot though, because you let them get hot. I don't care what Giannis do, they gonna run them out the gym. You let them cook, and then but the thing is though,
Milwaukee defense though.
But I'm saying though, with the Nets is that all of they other guys. They do have it. So with the guys that's not like maybe like the big whatever, like the Joe Harris's, the Blakes, the Timothy, the whoever, Jeff Green, all of them cool. It's the stars that's not really together. So like all they role players, they've been playing a lot of minutes and they know how to play together. I watched them run somebody out the gym and all they had on the floor was Kyrie Irving and it was a good team. I forgot who they played recently. And they ran them out the gym, and it was a really good team. I don't know, maybe the Suns or somebody.
An underrated factor about that Nets team though is LaMarcus Aldridge retiring. That forces them to play DeAndre Jordan. He's one of the worst players in the league. I watched him against.
They got Claxton. He decent, but I don't know
if he play or not.
They play. DeAndre Jordan is KD's boy. Like that was a package deal. He is going to play. He is going to play. And Miami was built to defend Giannis, to really confuse him, to throw a lot of different things at him. That like Eric Spoelstra was a fantastic coach.
Yeah.
And they really they maximized what they could do against him in that playoff series.
They took Nick Nurse sauce. They saw what Nick Nurse did and took his sauce.
They packed
that's what every team.
The Nets don't have that defensive capability to do that.
And Nash not gonna draw that shit up for them.
Nope, 100%. Like
Nash wants you to outscore them. There's
some 5-1s available on Milwaukee to win the East.
I need to see it.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I put up my money way before the season started, before Harden was even there on the Nets, and I've been dropping a dub every week.
Guys, Milwaukee's burned me before. Maybe they do again. But if I'm just looking around, and one of the things too, that about this year is you look around, it's who's healthy? Yeah. Who is going into the next couple of weeks fully healthy? That's Milwaukee. And the Nets have just not been there. That's a valid concern. This is a first-year team. There's no continuity. I don't think Steve Nash really has a clue what he's doing.
No, he don't. He just be out
You
there.
don't.
I just, I really think that this is finally the time Giannis breaks through, because they've been the best team in the East for the last 2 years,
Yeah.
and they
I
just
just need to see it.
they've thrown it away in the playoffs, and I think
you-
this is the year that they break through.
If you telling me that they win, I'm like, okay, what actually happened? Like, if you tell me like in July that they in the finals, I'm like, okay, I ain't really too surprised, but I need to find out what happened, because I'm not trusting Bud or Giannis like in the playoffs in the past couple of years. This dude won, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and all these dudes did was pack the paint and say, "Hey, the rest of y'all gotta beat us," and it didn't happen. Then Giannis got hurt, which completely just sink their chances. But I don't think, like I said, Nash and his staff know what they doing. They trying to just keep scoring, and you also don't want to like tip your hat to like what you're going to be doing defensively in the playoffs. Now, who do I trust?
I don't think the Nets have anything up their sleeve what they can
They
do
may not.
defensively.
I mean, but they coaches can pay a lot of money to like figure something out. And then I also think that like you still gotta stop them from scoring. And if you want to play some one-on-one stuff, and I'm taking the Nets one-on-one players because the game gonna slow down. And I think once Harden get back, they'll be fine, because now the pressure is off of Harden, because you got two guys that have won championships by hitting big shots. And so when it comes down to it, who do like in the fourth quarter, who am I going to like trust? Because like Giannis was hitting those shots, but I'm giving him those same shots that he was hitting. I'm giving him that in the playoffs. Like, bro, you got to show me. Like, you got to show me that if I sag off in his paint, you gonna make that three, or you gonna make this fall away jumper. Like, you got to routine. Like, you got to keep showing me that. And if they win with him doing that, then all right, sure, you
Look,
can't do nothing.
those are all fair points, for sure. I just feel that
I just got to see it, man, because we've been saying this for the past 2-3 years. Like, oh yeah, like this is the team. Like, but something happens to them, and the other guys don't show up. Now they got Drew Holiday this year, which should be different. PJ Tucker to like try to defend or get cooked by KD or whoever else. And so, all right, that's cool, but like we talking about guys that's like been there, done that type guys. And KD is damn near, if you want to argue, is probably up there as the best player in the world. And if he's healthy, and Kyrie's special. Like, I look at those two guys and like I'm taking them in the fourth. If the game close, I'm taking them in the fourth.
I think we all agree the East is a 3-team race. Is anybody giving Philadelphia any shot? Because
you got to.
Mid-season, that's what I thought was going to be it.
You got to, because
really before the Harden position.
Yeah, I mean, you can give them a shot. Like, you got to, because if they mess around and get the number one seed, that means they playing whoever wins the 4, like the Knicks or somebody.
The Knicks or the Hawks. So
the Knicks or the Hawks. So all right, so
either one of them.
Yeah.
Do you want to see the Knicks in the playoffs though? I mean, I think we gotta kind of take the Knicks seriously, man.
They're not ready. They're not ready.
But they're gonna make you play probably like one more game than you wanted to play. That's what I think is going to
That's
happen.
I agree with you. They're
gonna make you work for it though. They're gonna make it work.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because Julius Randle should be most improved player, like by far.
No, not even close.
He should be like 6th or 7th on the MVP list, I think. Like, he's not on the list, but like if you had a second list, like the second group of guys, he's in that mix. He played out his mind this year, and it's like he made his potential. I don't know where the hell that came from.
He should be on the All NBA team too.
Yeah, he should definitely be All NBA. Yeah. I just remember when they got him, everybody, they wanted KD and all that shit.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, well, Julius Randle, like, yay. And people was not feeling that. And like, I don't think nobody believed.
Because they got 4 power forwards.
Right, yeah. They just kept getting power forwards, right? So I like Julius Randle a lot in college. I know a lot of people was high on him. And he seemed I thought he was about to be Thomas Robinson. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, like I thought it was gonna be one of them type of moves. So I'm so glad he got to reinvent himself in the Mecca, quote unquote. And it's crazy, like Julius Randle has brought the Knicks back to prominence since they had Carmelo Anthony. Like, who saw that coming? I didn't. And then Derrick Rose been playing really good too. So
man.
so we all
RJ Barrett,
enjoy that.
RJ Barrett's developing that well too. Yeah,
Barrett coming into his own. Remember,
Yeah.
RJ Barrett. Hey, I said it on this podcast, like before Zion really was Zion, like I thought I wanted RJ Barrett first overall last year. You know what I'm saying? So like he coming into his own, he's gonna be a great scorer in the NBA. Probably like a tier above Andrew Wiggins, like that kind of space. But like he got a guy like Julius Randle who damn near is doing it all on side of him. Like, you know, that's a good person to be second to, I think, at that age that they are. So I don't want to see the Knicks. The Hawks, I mean, they're Atlanta Hawks. Like, I mean, this is the Atlanta Hawks, dog. Like, that's an unserious franchise. That's like
you ain't trusting Trey. You ain't trusting Trey, John Collins, Bogey, Danilo. Nah, you not.
That's
2025.
That's a fun little first round matchup, though. I'll say that the Knicks and the
Yeah.
Hawks.
That would be a lot of fun.
That'll be fun. Two conflicting styles. But Nate McMillan has really like helped them be a serious team for this year, even though they be tweaking.
The worst thing a head coach could do is hire Nate McMillan as an assistant, because it's so easy to fire you and then just slide him in there. Like this is like the third time this has happened. It's like do not put Nate McMillan as an assistant coach, because they if you're struggling, they will fire your ass and just slide him right in there. It's like the third time that's happened.
And he's a good coach. Like the Pacers tweaking, and that's why they going through what they going through now. Like the Pacers like did all of that stuff, and then the GM gonna hire his boy.
Poverty franchise.
And he don't got no good recommendations. The players hate him. The coach is quitting on him. All type of weird stuff. And now the Pacers over there looking crazy. And then you wasting Sabonis year. Like you wasted that. You got Malcolm Brogdon over there. You got Karis LeVert. Like y'all should be better than what y'all are. Y'all didn't know what y'all wanted to do with Victor Oladipo, so y'all just over there looking very, very, very unserious. All because you wanted your boy to come in there, and now y'all got to fire him probably, and the GM got to fire himself. The owner got to fire him too, because you pretty much wrecked your franchise. And your chemistry and all that stuff is shot. Like you can't have the players actively hating the coach. And then TJ Warren could have came back this year, and he had this coach already. He was like, "Nah, I'm just out there this year. My bubble stock is high. Let me just take this." He's
still signing autographs. He's still signing autographs from his bubble session.
Hey, love TJ. Love him in a bubble.
Hey man, that was
Bubble Warren is so good.
That was incredible. You can never take that
Bubble
away
TJ was so good. Like
that's my favorite bubble players, man. Bubble TJ.
Real quick, give us some NBA Finals predictions. Who's going to match up?
I'm gonna just stick to what I've been saying. Nets, Lakers. Even though I hope I'm wrong on the Lakers, I want them to lose. But all right, I'm gonna just go them.
I respect it. Schwab, you got any prediction NBA?
I still like Brooklyn in the East. In the West,
West tough.
The West is fucking hard, man.
If I had to put money on it today, God, there's those three at the top. Utah.
Wow.
That's Utah. Okay, that's Jazz. Shane.
All right, I'm actually getting more confident by the second here as we talk about Milwaukee, and I think you could find some decent prices on them too if you shop.
Yeah, I just saw plus 750 to win it all.
Win it all?
Okay.
I gotta look and see to win the East.
I would rather look to win the East, but
yeah.
Look, nothing you said about them is wrong.
No, it's not.
At the same time, too,
you got to see it. I get it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I hear it.
Not completely disappear in a big moment again. Because I think the league has figured him out at least enough that like he can't just be this one-dimensional guy in the postseason. I forget who was it Mike or DJ was talking about. Make him take those shots, and if he hits them, then God bless him.
You'll live.
Pretty much, yeah. Because Yeah, because then he's not getting nobody else involved. He's not bringing all the attention to the paint, kicking off of their shooters. And then, truth be told, even when he was doing that, they wasn't making those shots.
Right.
Like they wasn't making them. So all of a sudden, Chris Middleton making those shots, Drew Holiday making those shots, PJ Tucker, Bobby Portis, Brooke, are they all gonna start making these shots?
DiVincenzo, don't forget about DiVincenzo. He had 19
White
last
Dante,
night, baby.
yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
I mean, so
You take a
if
team
these
like
guys
Brooklyn.
make, because they all like, I feel like they all just like crumbled. Like they like the Bucks was like the number one offense and defense or whatever last year. Giannis was doing all this work, kicking out, and these guys was not making shots. And so, like, why y'all not making the shots y'all was making in the regular season? And so I just need
It's
to
a
see
different
it.
animal. I mean, you watched it how many years with the Bulls, where Thibodeau is the regular season king, and you're exactly right. With the Knicks this year, they'll make you play one more game than you want to. He did it how many times here? And as it relates to Milwaukee, Miami got him last year, and you got a team I think like Brooklyn that can shoot from outside too. And then on top of that, they got the slasher in Durant that you have to worry about defending the rim with him. I think it's just too much. And
I don't have
I
a
get the issues
clue.
with cohesion, but I need to see it to believe it with Milwaukee.
I don't have a clue who's going to win the West. I mean, if I knew that, Bron and AD were 100 ready to go, I think we would lean to the Lakers, but we don't.
Correct.
We don't know that.
Yeah, we don't know.
And let's just say for right now, just for argument's sake, LeBron's ankle doesn't get to 100 in time. They're not physically fit. They don't win. I'm trying to sit here and thinking like, okay, well now, like who would I really like feel strongly about picking? And I mean, you could legitimately, you could sell me on like 4 of those teams. You could sell me on Utah. You could sell me on the Clippers.
Yeah.
You could sell.
I went back and forth with Utah and Phoenix.
How
How about this one? Lakers or the field?
Put them in the hat, bro.
Knowing what you know today, Lakers or the field?
I would have to take the field.
Take the field because
y'all just don't see the Denver Nuggets right there, huh? Y'all just saying,
No.
I see them right there.
I just said fuck Denver. I just said fuck the MVP. The MVP.
That's it.
I said fuck
Murray, dog.
Man, look, I said early in the year Denver was coming out the West. If Jamal Murray wasn't hurt, I would still feel that way. However, Jamal Murray's hurt. So in the West, I'm gonna go with Lakers. The East, I've been on the Nets the whole year. Nothing's changing that. So DJ, I agree with you. Lakers, Nets. I got the Nets in like 5-6 games, like probably 5. I got them big 5 games. Because you got KD against LeBron in the finals again. You don't want to see that, man. KD, and then you have James Harden, who hasn't won it. He was there 9 years ago and dropped a bomb like shit a brick the whole time in his 6-man role, and now shit, I'd have been an MVP. Like, I'm a first team perennial in this league. Like, it's my time. And who the hell gonna guard James Harden on the Lakers? Who's gonna guard Kevin Durant on the Lakers? Who's gonna guard Kyrie Irving on the Lakers?
Caruso.
All right,
your boy.
I'm going Nets Lakers. I really want to put Denver in that mix. Schwab, I do like your Utah pick. Utah was like at the top the whole season. They done fell off a little bit.
Mitchell hurt.
Don't believe in Phoenix at all.
Mitchell hurt.
Mitchell hurt, but I mean, shit, Murray hurt, and the Nuggets still sustaining. So
but they don't. But the Nuggets, I mean, Murray hurt, but then you got the MVP on that team. You take Mitchell off that Utah team. It's like they are a nice team, but
6-man. They got the 6-man of the year. He played the same position.
Utah feels like that overachieving regular season team that you respect, but when the games get tighter, when the brights get light,
they're the 25th Atlanta Hawks.
Probably, yeah. But that's the thing though.
I'll say they're better than that team though.
I still feel like the same way with like the Jazz and the Suns. I don't necessarily believe in them, but if you tell me that the Lakers not healthy, then okay. Same thing with like the Clippers, because the Clippers be clipping, and so like put them teams in a hat and pick one out, and then that's the one that won. Okay, cool.
It's going to make for an interesting playoffs. That's
it is because we don't,
especially out west.
We don't know. Like we really don't know.
And then what if Golden State get in and who wants to be a top seed seeing Golden State? Like
Nobody.
Phoenix against Golden State? I don't know, man.
I just don't think I hear you. I think they can. I think Steph can go get 1 or 2 on his own, but I don't think they have enough to win 4.
He can go get
Correct.
1 or 2 on his own for sure.
I-
And that's like,
but
what if he get the first 2? I'm just saying, on
like,
the
He's gonna
road,
make you sweat. He's gonna make you earn it. But at the end of the day,
he gonna make you fight. Like,
they're
like-
relying on they're gonna have to rely on Andrew Wiggins to step up.
Kelly
and-
Oubre,
and,
yeah.
like,
Right.
I
Yep.
don't even know if I'd
Good
pick
luck.
those guys up on my men's league team.
Come on, man.
Like, I mean, I'm good. Like, there's no way that team is winning. That
You
team
did
is
say
not,
that about Wiggins. You had a tweet RP Sugar Shane _3 too, man. We got to come back with another Twitter, man, because
Yep.
you had some gems on there. Because you definitely said that on Twitter. He said I would pick Andrew Wiggins up in my men's league.
I just don't
Player.
like him. I just do not like his game at all.
I don't need this, so I agree
Yeah,
with
I
you.
don't like Andrew Wiggins.
I
either.
bet
He
you.
had-
I
he
bet
has
you
the
Steph
greatest
doesn't. I bet you
mixtape
Steph
of all
don't like him
time.
either.
Andrew
Probably
Wiggins.
not.
Andrew Wiggins should be like talent wise. That dude should be like a step below like Kawhi Leonard as far as like talent wise, because you 6'7", you can jump out the gym, you have the wingspan. You was the number 1 pick. You have a similar body type. You just don't got the will, the desire, the heart to just be great. You just content with being, I'm okay. Like
That high school mixtape fire though.
it is, but
his
like,
tape is nice.
He got the best
It-
one ever.
it is, but like, bro, like he just don't got that desire to be great. Like you, like physically, he has like all the tools. Like you know, how in baseball they be like, "This a 5'2" player." Like Andrew Wiggins has all of the tools, except for mentally, he just don't get it. Like he just, I'm cool. That's that
Right.
Canada stuff. Like I'm cool on that.
All right, so we got our predictions in. Any wild ass takes before we get up off here?
I'm sure, Shane.
I'll give you something. I'm
Either
sure.
one. Either one.
Um,
And while we wait,
I have a prediction, a random one, and it's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to predict it anyway. Brad Stevens is not the coach of the Boston Celtics next year.
They need something over there, man.
They
'cause he
need
got
they
two
need
dogs.
they need to make a
got-
change. They need to
got
change
two
something.
Dogs, like I don't even know. I don't know. I think I've been said Brad Stevens is overrated. I said he need to take his ass back to college. Probably just
Bring
need to go right back to Butler
Bring him to
and
Duke.
just and go be you know what I'm saying, go be John Wooden of Butler or some shit like
Yeah.
Yeah,
because like NBA is just and in Boston too, and then the Philly is good, the Nets are good, the Knicks are good. And it's like
all these teams are getting better, like you said, and like even in Atlanta,
It's stagnant.
Atlanta's better than Boston. That should never happen.
I mean
especially-
Philly, New York, and Brooklyn all their division too. So it's
Yeah,
like you
they
got to
are.
go in and get smacked day in, day out. Man, Washington, they got better as the season went on. I don't know what they roster gonna look like next year, but like it's like you got teams with dogs on them, like all over them. Like New York is better than Boston right now, bro. Who's seeing
Yeah.
that coming? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so
Not since-
I can agree with that. I don't know who gonna be the next coach, but I mean, they gonna lose Tatum and Brown, bro. They gonna lose both of them. Like them dudes not gonna stay there, man. If they
You
don't
think
get
so?
it right.
Are you saying that they still stay the same? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, man. Because
Because
like
what's the point?
they wouldn't
mean-
get Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker, he cool and whatnot, but like he not all-star Kemba Walker no more. And
Something's
Yeah,
got to
he
He
change.
got hurt.
you can't be right, and then you can't be because you're not the best player on your team no more. He was the best player in a wasteland for what 8-9 years. So like
Yeah.
you're not gonna be him. They got guys like Robert Williams who like barely plays. When he does, he puts on a show, and then y'all take him out and he don't play no more. Like I don't know what the
Something's
hell
gotta
Boston doing. Yeah, something got to change seriously over there. And then it's like it's Boston, so like that's one of them cities like they want you to win.
Yeah.
Like it's the Celtics, you know. So yeah, I like that take, Shane. Yeah, we'll end it there, man. Before we do end, I do want to talk about me and DJ show. We're gonna call it GIIG Jam. Good if it goes jam, like NBA Jam. We can talk about all type of stuff. So check it out. Goodifitgoes.com is the website. Go show us some love there. My boy Schwab put in hella work on that website. Shout out to Quality Media, Quality Sports, all that good stuff. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Good if it goes podcast.
To get
Go ahead, Schwab.
Canelo Saunders. I know we got a few boxing fans here. Real quick, what's your prediction for that one?
Canelo
finishes him in the 10th.
TKO.
Canelo finishes him in the 10th.
6th round TKO. Put your money on it.
I'm going Canelo, but it's a unanimous decision. I think Saunders is going to make him earn it, but late in the fight, Canelo pulls away.
6th round. Don't buy it on pay-per-view. I got the stream links if you need.
DAZN,
Peace, y'all.
$10 for the year.